Hey everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. We're using the Universal Celtic Tarot for your reading today. Alrighty, let's get stuck right in. Thank you so much for your support, your love. Welcome to the new members and the new people who've joined the channel. I hope you enjoy it. I've been doing this for around about, I think, going close to 5 years now. So I have come a long way, even in myself and personally during that time, as many of you would probably remember. Somebody said to me the other day, I find it really hard to show my face, and I say go back and watch the videos I did. I was terrified. I just felt so driven to do it. And we did the kitchen table talks, which were pretty much the Judgment and the Two of Wands, where I sat at the kitchen table and all you saw was my hands. And I think I did that for pretty much the first year before I decided to go on. And you can still hear in my voice that nervousness, and people would say to me, are you okay? Because my voice would be so shaky. So my confidence has grown exponentially. And I feel very comfortable now sitting in front of the camera doing this. So if you think you can't do it, well, as they say, if you think you can't, you can't. But if you think you can, you can. Okay. For those of you who are members on the channel, thank you so much for sticking with me. We've been a little bit in a pickle at the moment. I have done a couple of coaching sessions for you privately. So and I've still got some to reply with email addresses or contact addresses, so I can offer you something too. So if you hear this today, please remember to chuck me your email address so I can get in touch with you and ask what you'd like in the future. If I've not got to you, I'm not quite sure why, but please give me a little bit of a kickstart. It's been a very tough couple of months here in my world, so I may have missed or something along the way, so please be aware of that. For those of you who've picked to have a coaching session or a one-on-one with me in regard to reading the tarot, I am getting around to organising your appointments for this week, so watch this space. For others of you, if you're interested in having a reading with me, you can email me at theaussiegoddess@gmail.com. I will respond with costs and times and availability. So just sort of let me know what you want, whether you want a face-to-face, a recorded reading. I do a short recorded reading just for questions, and I do face-to-face on Zoom. I also too still have a couple of coaching programs available. As you know, I sort of do 6 reduced coaching programs over the course of a year, and I still have a couple of those left. So if you're interested in coaching, please email at me at theaussiegoddess@gmail.com, and it's all one word, no numbers, straightforward. All right, let's get into this reading. We will be doing the reading for Sagittarius today, so if you're waiting on the Sagittarius reading, I'll do that straight after. So we have the Sun card coming out. Now, I think this happened a couple of times last week in readings, and I love the Sun card. It's a beautiful card. It talks of joy and happiness, going back to the beginning, restarting, having light shone on something that perhaps you were confused about. It's like, I always say, my favourite thing about the Sun is when you go on holidays and you're sort of, I almost want to say briefly clad. You might have a bikini, swimsuit, and you get up in the morning, go for a walk along the beach as I used to, and take my book. I don't go in the sun anymore, which is a bit of a shame. But I would take my book with me and I'd go and find a really nice place on the sand, perch myself down, and I can still remember the warmth of the sun on my back as I was walking, and it still remains one of the most beautiful feelings to this day. So I always feel that when I see the sun. Behind that we have the 10 of Swords. Now it feels to me like something has been shown to you here that is going to turn you around about a way of thinking or a way of seeing things that you haven't really seen before. Now these to me are those epiphany moments. You know, sometimes we can be so habitual in what we do, and sometimes having something shown to us can be so enlightening and so almost, I want to say almost informative. You know, it's like in that single moment you go, oh my goodness, I've been doing this for such a long time. I'd never realized I'd been doing it incorrectly. Or I hadn't realized that I'd been doing it that way and perhaps I needed to see it from another perspective. So sometimes this can be even negative thinking, you know, being stuck in a cycle of negative thinking. It can be, you know, betrayal with some sort of energy of seeing somebody that's betrayed you, or finally seeing someone who's maybe not done the right thing by you, but you've kept going. Um, I hear about this often, and I think it's so sad that people are so, I almost want to say they've got such an entitlement attitude that they can take other people for such a ride without actually feeling grateful for what the other person's done. And I feel like sometimes, you know, you just keep going because you may have that people pleasing sort of attitude. And you may think that you're doing good by allowing somebody to walk all over you like a doormat. Sometimes we get that shown to us. We get something happening where we go, hang on a moment, this isn't quite right. And I've been letting it go on for such a long time without speaking up and saying something. But I feel like now it's the right time to speak up. Oh my goodness, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So it could be a female around you. Let's go female, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. It could be a male, but they're coming up in this feminine energy. But what I feel like moreover here is that this is your energy here. It's like you've been so focused on seeing things a certain way that actually I feel like now something's been shown to you. I almost want to see this as a crystal ball. It's like something's been shown to you now that you can't undo. You know, that moment when something happens and you think life will never be the same again because I've seen it this way. I've had a couple of silly experiences like that, like OXO cubes. So I always use OXO cubes, and I used to always take all the foil off, crunch the OXO cube up, and put it in my stews and soups and gravies. And I was watching TikTok one day, and it's phenomenal for those things. But somebody actually opened the packet up, crushed it in the packet, which meant your hands don't get like grubby or sticky, and then put it in the soup. And I went, oh my goodness, look, all the years I've been doing it my way, I had never thought there was an alternative way for doing it. I know that's very simplified, but that is the sort of thing I'm feeling here, because there's some sort of rebirth coming from this. And what I mean by a rebirth, it's like really exhilarating. I can feel the energy of learning something new, more than likely about yourself. So maybe something you've been going through life with, like me with the OXO cube, and all of a sudden it's like your world just opens up to you because you see something differently. You know, sometimes it can just be seeing ourselves as who we truly are. Like we may be seeing a window of success, or some sort of compliment or something coming through here that really changes, because it's changing your world here. And I do have the the Two of Wands behind that. So this means you're embarking on a new journey. Now, for some of you, this has been through the work you've done, and there is celebration here. So you could actually be intentionally looking for something. Maybe you are intentionally looking at the way you are and trying to work something out for yourself. Sometimes we can do this when we cycle something, and I hear people saying, oh my goodness, that happens to me all the time. And I think that is your sun moment. That is your sun moment. When you stand there and you say, this happens to me all the time, that means because you are going through a cycle but not realizing that you're not learning the lesson. That is a sun moment, epiphany. So all of a sudden you just stop and you think, why does this keep happening to me? Maybe I need to understand what I'm doing to be able to go back a bit and look at the processes I've taken in the past, and make sure that you're not trying to do things the same way expecting a different result. All right, let's get into it. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles here. So it's very possible with that Queen of Pentacles, this could be relationships here. Five of Swords, are you always feeling like you need to run away from a relationship? Maybe you've got some abandonment or attachment issues here. The Magician and the Hierophant. Ooh. you know, sometimes people can jump ship every time a relationship comes to something more stable. And that is abandonment. So if you've got abandonment or rejection issues from your own childhood, say, for example, an absent parent, a parent that had to work all the time, somebody that was very maybe abusive to you or abusive to other people in your family, there's a great depth to this, but just basically, then sometimes what you can do is you can grow up with that rejection and abandonment, thinking that everybody's going to do that to you at some point in your life. And they most likely will until you start to understand why. And I meet people all the time who are either dealing with somebody that the relationship's got quite cozy and quite comfortable, and then the person they're dealing with has done a runner, ghosted them, or whatever. And it happens a lot. And it really is a mirroring of something back to you as well. So if you sit there and think that that is their problem and their issue, I feel like that we need to stop and go, well, hang on a moment. Why is this happening? What part am I playing in this? Because sometimes we can just keep going with that cycle thinking. And you may not have anything to blame on yourself. Like, you may think that because the other person's gone, run, or whatever else, that it may not be that you've done anything wrong. Absolutely. Because sometimes it's just loving someone unconditionally that has had those issues in their past. And you sort of, you know, throw all these beautiful things at them, all this love, all this kindness, and all of a sudden they disappear. And that freaks them out. And it really, the reason it freaks them out is because they've never been loved unconditionally before, and not even by their parents. So unconditional is probably a bit of a tacky word because I don't think any love's unconditional, but you know, that sort of energy of loving someone no matter what. So if you've had that situation, I'm just feeling here that every time a relationship gets stable, you're either dealing with somebody who rushes out the door on you, or you're running away from others. All right, have the Seven of Wands coming through with the Knight of Cups and the Four of Wands. All you want here is stability, relationship, marriage, commitment. It's showing, you know, this real energy of just wanting something like this, but something in you keeps sort of, you may be turning your back and running from things yourself. Maybe you're scared of commitment, but you don't really understand why. Maybe it's deeply embedded in you and you're not really sure why. Because a fear of meeting someone and falling in love is so scary if you think the other person's not going to feel the same way about you. And it can create so much toxicity and conflict within you that you just want to run away. It's Scarpa. All right, so I've got the Seven of Swords. Yeah, you're somebody here I'm talking to. It's Page of Cups. You could be dealing with the Pisces, Nine of Pentacles. Somebody here I'm talking to is self-sabotaging. So when we talk about self-sabotaging, sometimes you can jump before you're pushed. That can be in a work situation as well, where, you know, when things start to go a little pear-shaped, you think I'm getting out of here, but you're not realizing you're creating the cycle. You're more than likely going to take it somewhere else with you. If you do it in your work, it's more than likely influencing your personal life as well. The thing is, we don't see it until we've done it a few times, and then the cycle becomes very clear to us, and then we hear ourselves saying, this always happens to me. And that is your indication that something needs to change. All right, let's have a look. So we have the Sun coming. Something is going to shine light on a negative situation for you. I feel like somehow or another you're seeing things differently. It's going to give you some sort of rebirth here. I feel that this will take you down a completely different path. I feel like for some of you it could be about work, but for others of you it could be through the work you're doing on yourself, and that's why we're encouraged to do that work. But I do see celebration, so something out of this is going to be life-changing for you. You just may not realize it yet. All right, let's have a look at a card from the Lightworker Oracle. Oh, there it is, the Heart Transmission. Let's have a look. It's card 37, 3 and 7 is 10, which comes back to 1. So it could be a new beginning in regard to this card too. But your heart is capable not of only giving and receiving love, but of connecting you to a great network of beings that resonate in the highest frequencies of divine love. Through your heart, you can receive information and guidance from networks of light that fill our universe. As you learn to open your heart to receiving these transmissions, your ability to work with group consciousness in a loving way increases. You shall affect humanity in a loving way, influencing the collective rather than allowing the lower frequencies of the collective to overwhelm you. So there's a real need for you here to open your heart space and connect with your spirit guides or whoever you feel that you get your energy through from. I like that. It says your heart will guide you to operate differently with different people. And it sort of talks about the heart guiding you to move on when things are done, when you can no longer get something from something, whether you've taken all the energy and the learning from something and it's time to move on. So that's really good, a good oracle card to get. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.